Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 125. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I just want to thank you for sharing your time with me today. Time truly is our greatest asset, and the fact that you're willing to share your time with me truly does mean a great deal. I'm going to talk about something today that may jostle your brain a little bit, and I love doing that, to be honest, because it gets us to think differently. It gets us to see things differently. It causes a bit of confusion on your brain, which requires it to process differently. And most importantly, I believe what this conversation may do for some of you is get you to act differently. I know I've been a coach for a long time, and I remember years ago when my clientele started moving up into higher level of production. So I was having clients in the upper 6, low 7-figure income bracket, all having a common theme. I've built my dream business and it feels more like a nightmare. I've built my dream business and I am burned out. I've built this dream business and I'm ready to walk away from it. I've built my dream business and I don't know what to do. I'm unhappy. And that happens a bit. And this is the reason why I believe that happens. We've been conditioned that to continue to succeed and continue to move up, whether it's in production, it's sales growth, it's promotions, whatever it is, we've been conditioned to believe that that path forward is simply by doing more. And I will tell you that definition of success is broken, in my opinion. And I've helped a lot of clients fall back in love with their business, fall back in love with what they're doing, fall back in love with their lives, simply by taking a peek at what they're doing that is helping them define success. And I want to talk about that today. This is one of the things that I've done in my businesses that has made the biggest difference. It has allowed me to appear to have a simpler approach to business and to have balance and fun and joy and enjoyment while not decreasing productivity, while actually increasing productivity. And I want to share it with you. So let's dive in and talk about a few talking points that I want you to consider as we go down this journey of when more stops working and what might be some hidden costs that you're experiencing that you're not aware of. Number one is the model that we have inherited about what success is. I think about this a lot. And when I ask clients or people that I'm speaking to in a room, what is your definition of success and where did you get it from? What is your definition of success? It takes people a minute because they default to the model and the definition that has been gifted to us through generations. Success means this. Success means doing more. Success means making more. Success means a larger organization. Success, it has all of these external meanings. Yet when I really ask someone to sit down and write down their definition of success, it takes them back for a moment because I don't believe we've ever done it. I know for myself, when I was in the hotel industry, I measured success by the next job. I just had to do more, be better than my peers, get promoted, work harder, work longer hours, skip the vacation, and get promoted. And it did happen, yet what I'm realizing is that isn't necessarily what needed to happen. Same thing in real estate. As an individual agent, I started watching agents that were more successful than me. And what that meant to me was they were making more money, they were selling more homes, they had more market share, they were bigger in the industry. And I focused on all of those external things and allowed that to be my definition of success. Not once did I ever step back and consider success to be more money, more income, and joy, balance, love of what we're doing, only doing what matters. Not once did I ever do that. That's the number one thing I would say is important for you to do right now, is just to take a step back and ask yourself, what is my definition of success? Because the do more, be more, have more as the cultural script to success is really quite broken. Yet that's where most of us live when we're looking at how do we become more successful. Here's the funny thing about it. When I first started out as an entrepreneur, or even when selling homes, or even when I started off as a coach, the do more worked because my baseline was pretty low, right? So in the beginning, when you do more, it actually reinforces that model of, do more, be more, have more. The reality is it works for a while, and then you max out at how much more you can possibly do. And productivity, hustle, achievement become your identity when you're in the more mode. So think about that. Your productivity, how much you're hustling, how much you're out there making sales, your achievements become your identity. You start to lose yourself in this definition that's been gifted to you of what success is. There's this silent agreement that's happening within you, and that is that more effort equals more success. And for a while, that will work, and then it won't. Number two thing I want you to consider is when the formula starts to fail. So when that do more, be more, have more starts to fail, what happens? You reach a plateau. I can promise you that's what happens. That's the first sign that this old model and definition of what you're doing may not be supporting you anymore. You start to see that actually taking more action results in less progress. I think this happens because we get diluted in the action that we take. We play the comparison game. We look at our peers, we look at people doing the same thing we're doing and see what they're doing that is working for them. And we immediately start jumping around to find the magic bullet. What's the thing that is going to make the difference in my business that other people are doing that I just need to go do? And I believe that we inherit or we believe in this more activity is going to get us to greater progress. And it actually dilutes and distracts and can diminish your progress. I've seen this happen where people are doing more and more and more, and their success is going down, down, down. The results are going down. And it's really just a symptom of this belief and when the formula starts to fail us. You might be feeling busy, yet have lost your edge, or you're not as effective as it used to be. Again, I think this comes from delusion or distraction. You're probably experiencing signs of fatigue, frustration. I've lost my mojo. I've lost my spark. I don't love what I'm doing anymore. These are symptoms of when the formula, that old formula, be, have, and do more, starts to fail. There's a lot of confusion, right? You're like, my gosh, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing all of this stuff, but why does it feel so wrong? Why am I not making more progress? Why am I not seeing better results? Why am I continuing to be frustrated? Or why am I continuing to stay in the same place and not be able to break through the goal ceiling that I so badly want to break through? I feel like we've all experienced this at some point in our careers. I know I have. I know I did. And I started playing the game that everybody plays, started adding more people to my team, started doing different projects, started saying yes to different opportunities that were not in alignment with who I am, started doing the things because I was following this old formula of success. And I can tell you, there were times in my career, and there have been multiple times in my career, both as an executive leadership roles in the hospitality and as an exec in my own companies, where I was really burned out and I was close to throwing in the towel. And it was simply because I was swimming in this pool of just do more. The number three thing I want you to consider is there really is an invisible cost to more. There's the right more and there's the wrong more. And depending on which lane you're in, there's a cost. So if I'm doing the wrong more, I'm going to be overloaded and I'm going to have decision fatigue. I don't know if any of you feel that. There's some times where I'm like, I just can't make one more dang decision. And it's because I'm allowing these other things to enter my mind about things that I should be doing. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I hire this company? Should I start doing this funnel? Should I start? And we start getting really, really overloaded. Our attention gets fragmented because we're considering all these other different options. And we're looking at, well, they did it and they were successful and this happened. And we start really flooding our minds with too much to process because we're just in a rush to find more. Usually we find the wrong more and it takes us a while to sift through to get to the right more. yet that can be done. We have very shallow focus. Think about it. If you're focused on a lot of things versus 3 really important things, your focus is diluted. It is very shallow. It does not have the opportunity to have a deeper impact because you have just a little bit of time to focus on this and then to move your focus to that and then to this. It's that whole multitasking thing that can really come up and bite us in the butt. Stress is happening to you at a really high level in this invisible cost phase. You may not know why, yet you might be experiencing this insane amount of stress. Relationships and fulfillment become collateral damage. Boy, can I relate to this. I remember this was in my corporate days, and I had a position where I was traveling throughout a region. And I was gone 2 to 3 days in different cities, 2 to 3 days a week. So I'd leave on Sunday, come back on Friday, and I had hit 3 different cities. And I was doing that over and over and over and over. And I was just working to get more, to get more, to get more. And my relationships at home suffered big time. Big time. I was no longer feeling a sense of fulfillment. It was just constant rush to get to the next thing, to check it off the box, to do the next thing, to check it off the box, to do the next thing, check it off the box. And there was really a lack of fulfillment because it was all very superficial. There was no depth to it. There was no really meaning to it. So that invisible cost to me is probably one of the greatest costs when it impacts your relationships with your family, your spouse, your friends, your peer group, and it starts to not be fulfilling anymore. We start like, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's really not a whole lot of fun anymore. I have no joy. I'm exhausted and I'm not getting anywhere. There is a cost. Just pay attention. The problem really isn't that you're not doing enough. The problem is that you're doing too much. Again, too much of the wrong more. There's a difference. Number 4 thing to consider about high performers, high performers don't quit. They tend to just accumulate, meaning achievers respond to friction by adding more. So if you're a driver, which I am, and I think a lot of us are in the lane of entrepreneurship, we're drivers. We like to move the needle, move forward, constantly be doing more. And in that, we achieve or intersect with friction. And when we intersect with friction, we respond by doing more. Regardless if it's the right or wrong more, we just feel like we can bust our way through it. We tend to look at new goals, new systems, new strategies. We accumulate things and disguise that as progress. Well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And we think that's progress because we've agreed to do more. The real progress happens when you do the right more and you move ahead and you start to get the results that you want. So high performers tend not to quit until they get beyond burned out. They just tend to start accumulating more things to do and avoiding friction or feeling they can bust through that level of friction by simply just doing more. It's really a trap that you fall into as, I'm going to optimize what I'm doing. I'm going to do more. There is a plateau, which is the 5th thing I want to talk to you about, that happens when we're out of alignment. That happens when the system and the model no longer works for us. When more stops working, we hit a plateau. And it's subtle. We appear on paper to be extremely successful. You look at your business plan, you look at your strategies, you look at how you are viewed in your industry. And on paper, we seem to be successful. Yet in reality, we've grown stagnant. We've hit a plateau. Metrics, we change them. We think, well, if I made 3 sales calls and I got this, if I made 10, I would get this. We start to put different metrics in place to hold ourselves to a level of just do more. And we actually start declining because you can't keep up with that pace. That's not a sustainable pace to go. Momentum actually becomes maintenance. Momentum is a wonderful thing when we have it. I love when I am in a state of momentum. Yet, what I've noticed is momentum happens when I'm focused on doing the right things. When I am focused and clear on the certain things that are going to move me forward. And then if I just do those and keep my focus there, I will be in a state of momentum. Versus, like I said earlier, when we dilute what we're doing, when we change our focus, when we really stop paying attention to the right metrics and just start adding more. So a lot of us do metrics on our KPIs, our key performance indicators. And so we look at the activities that should generate a result. And when we aren't able to get that result anymore, rather than dig into what's happening with what we're doing, we want to just pile on other tasks, other things to do. If I do this, if I do that, if I just add more, I'm going to be fine. So I'm going to change my metrics and add those to the equation. All of this goes back to what I said earlier. We start to dilute our focus. We start to dilute going deep, and we stay very surface because we're going in so many different directions. This is what happens when we reach a plateau. And we have this little burning question in the back of our brains almost at all times when we hit this plateau. Is this it? Have I reached the end? Is this how it's all going to be for me moving forward? I've hit this point before, team, and I will tell you, and I will preach this all the time. This is when having a coach can help you out to get you to break through that goal ceiling that you keep hitting. So many clients and folks that I have the privilege of talking to in workshops, in breakout sessions, in keynote presentations that I do, so many people are stuck and they keep saying, I keep having the same year after year after year. And I can't seem to break through. I'm doing more. I've added these tasks. I'm checking these matrix. I'm doing all this stuff. But year after year, I keep getting the same level of results. And after you do that for a while, you start to question, is this it? Have I reached the end? I know when I start to feel that way as a coach, I know that I'm reaching a plateau. Yet it's really hard for me to break through it on my own. This is why I always have at least 2 coaches at all times. And this is when having a coach can help you out because we can't see our blind spots. We can't sometimes pull ourselves out of working in the business long enough to work on it to see the path forward. Having a coach is probably, when you get to this phase of the subtle plateau, is probably the most important time that you've got somebody partnering with you to help you get through to that next level. And that doesn't mean doing more. A lot of times it's just a rearrangement of what you're doing. That's probably my favorite thing to do with a client is to just rearrange, focus attention and activities on what they're already doing, and they have a breakthrough. It never was about doing more. It was really just about rearranging. So the questions come up. So you're in this plateau and you start to think, is this it? And then you might start to question, how do I change it? How do I do more? What no longer belongs? This is an early sign for you that subtraction actually creates movement. This is what I'm saying. When I work with clients, we take a hard look at what they're doing and we start to reorganize. We start to change the order of events. We start to change our focus and our actions in those strategies, not adding more. And we start to take things away that are no longer moving you forward. I hate the saying it's no longer serving you. I don't love that saying, but this is what that means. What am I doing that's not adding value? And or what am I doing that I hate doing? Well, I simply just need to look at things saying, okay, this is what I'm doing and it's creating results. Do I like it or not? This is what I'm doing. It's not creating results. Do I like it or not? And we start to look at those activities and we parcel together our focus on the activities that are giving us value, results, and that we actually enjoy doing. If there's an activity that's giving us results and we don't enjoy, we just need to work on that and figure out what it is about it that you don't enjoy and reframe it. 9 times out of 10, it's a quick fix. But we really do need to honor like the question of what no longer belongs. What am I doing that no longer belongs? And that by releasing it will create the space for more opportunities to show up. That's one of the big things that I will notice. And has happened to me personally. I've let go of some things. Recently, I let go of a group coaching program because it just wasn't what was helping move the needle forward. And the second I did that and let it go, amazing things started showing up from the other areas of focus. I believe this happens because you've created the space for more. You've gotten rid of what is no longer working. It's filling the space, and you've created a void for the right more to show up. We just need to look at it differently. Instead of saying, how do I do more, meaning different activities, different strategies, piling things on, how do I do more of the right more? And it might be in the area that we're already working. And it's really simple versus learning a new task, a new strategy, starting from ground zero with something. It's a different model of success. I know it seems counterintuitive. Subtraction is one of your biggest gifts to moving towards the right more, to moving towards actual experience of success. Just know this, if you're experiencing this right now, you're not broken. It's just us living in an old model, or it's just us not taking the time to define what success means to us and to really focus on what am I doing versus just doing things out of habit, doing things because you've always done it that way and that's what the model says to do. Really breaking the model and making it your own. We're going to talk a little bit more in an upcoming episode about clarity and using clarity as a great multiplier. And that really complements what we've talked about today when more stops working. And this is a bigger topic than one episode. It truly is. This is a topic that we have to wrap our brains around first, that we're going to look at subtraction, and then we're going to look at clarity, and we're going to get more. And it's true, we're going to end up getting the right more. So I just invite you to maybe take a listen to this episode twice and see what you missed the first time, because your brain is busy right now processing a different way, a different approach, a different technique than ever maybe shared or discussed with you in the past. And it's opening up new neural pathways in your brain that are going to take you a minute to wrap your brain around and get used to, and to enjoy that journey a little bit more than the journey you've been on. As always, team, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Tony@rethinkcoaching.com is probably the easiest way to find me. That, and I'm all over social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, occasionally TikTok, not that often, but you can find me. So if you've got questions about this new concept about when more stops working, don't struggle, just reach out. I'm happy to help you any way that I can. I'll see you guys next week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.